Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we are taking a closer look at and installing the MP Concepts GT350 Track Pack style rear spoiler in matte black, available for all 2015 and newer fastback Mustangs. Now, you should be checking out this option if you're looking for a relatively aggressive factory-inspired option that is ready to install right out of the box thanks to that matte black finish. So a little backstory here on the GT350, or at least the Track Pack inspired spoiler. Back in 2015 and 2016, Ford released two versions of the standard non-R GT350, and that was the Tech Pack and the Track Pack. The Tech Pack had a very basic, very unassuming blade style spoiler, which was very subtle. In fact, almost too subtle for the mighty Shelby, in my opinion. Now, the Track Pack style, on the other hand, I thought fit the car perfectly, offered a good amount of aggressiveness for a spoiler, and that's exactly the style that we're featuring here on the table today. Now, sure, it's not nearly as radical as the GT350R option, but I think this is gonna offer just the right amount of size, the right amount of angle for most Mustang owners out there. But what do you say we focus in on the build of the Track Pack spoiler a little further here, guys? And on the surface, you're gonna find a very durable and lightweight ABS plastic construction with a lot of the same detail that you would find on the OE Shelby option, but for far less dough than just buying a part directly from Ford. Now, as you can see, this particular choice has been finished off in matte black. There's also a gloss black version available here on the site, but the black in general should offer a nice color contrast to any color S550 out there, save for black, but even the matte with the gloss, I like that contrast myself. Just a quick heads up here, guys. Now, if you like the styling of the Track Pack spoiler, but maybe preferred it to be the same color as your car, well, you can find a few different speed form options here on the site that will offer that paint match functionality. Quickly talking about price here, guys, MP Concepts and their GT350 track style spoiler are right around that $180 price point. One of the more affordable spoilers on the site in regards to something that's going to deliver a factory styled look or appearance, along with that ready to install matte black color right out of the box. But let's segue into the installation here with the MP Concept spoiler, and this will go down one of two different ways. If you have a factory spoiler already installed, well, you're not going to encounter any drilling or anything crazy. Just need to get rid of some of the factory tape or adhesive left by that factory spoiler before you can install everything here. Now, on the other hand, if you do not have a factory spoiler currently installed, well, you will need to break out that drill in addition to using the included 3M automotive tape. Now, because of that, the site is just gonna call this one a middle of the road 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe a couple of hours or so just to be safe. But what do you say we head out to the shop now and give you our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown?
The tools you'll need for this project are a ratchet, a 10mm socket, a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, a utility knife or razor blade, some painter's tape, and some rubbing alcohol. Hi everyone, today we're installing a rear spoiler on our Mustang, so let's get started with the uninstall of the original spoiler first. And once you've got your trunk lid open, first thing we're going to want to do is remove these push pins that are in this panel here. We've got 9 of them to remove, so we'll use our trim removal tool and just pop those out. And once you've got those push pins out of the way, we can go ahead and remove this plastic latch cover here. And then we'll remove these 2 bumpers from here simply by unscrewing them from the deck lid. And we'll slide our emergency release handle through the panel and just pull that out of the way. Now once you've got your panel removed, next thing we're going to do is remove the grommet here and on the other side of the deck lid as well. And you can do that simply by pulling down on it and pulling it away. Now once those are out of the way, you're going to find 2 10mm nuts on the inside here and then one behind each of the grommets that we just took out. So we'll go ahead and remove those now using our 10mm socket. And you do want to be kind of careful when you remove these to make sure that they don't fall down inside the deck lid. One way to do that is once you get it loose, just go ahead and tilt the deck lid down, and that'll help keep the nut from falling down inside the trunk lid. And you see the nut stayed inside the socket and we didn't lose it. Now just repeat that process for the other 3 nuts. Now once you've got the 4 nuts removed, go ahead and lay your trunk lid down and then just gently pry up on the spoiler and pull it out of the way. Now once you've got that out of the way, obviously you can see that there's some dirt and some debris buildup underneath the original spoiler. Now would be the perfect time to go ahead and clean that and get it ready to install the new spoiler. Now we've got the major dirt and debris washed off of the vehicle. Now you want to use either an alcohol pad such as what we're using or some regular rubbing alcohol in a clean cloth, and make sure that this area is completely clear of any kind of oils or waxes or coatings that you may have had on the vehicle prior to replacing this. So we're just going to use our alcohol pad, and you want to make sure that you wipe down where the new adhesive and this double-sided tape are going to attach to the deck lid. You want to make sure that this is very, very clean with nothing on there at all to make sure that the tape and the adhesive stick the way that they're supposed to. Like I said, you want to make sure that this is absolutely clean of any kind of previous waxes or cleaners or anything like that, because this particular model of the spoiler does not use bolts like the original did to hold it on. It's held on by 3M double-sided tape and some polyurethane adhesive. So you need to make sure that this is absolutely clean before we put this on. Give that a couple minutes to dry. And while you're doing that, we can go ahead and clean the bottom of the spoiler as well. If your Mustang comes with a spoiler already attached to the deck lid, this is a very simple install. It's just a matter of using the supplied screws and flat washers to go into these holes that are already in the back of your spoiler. Now, one thing you will want to do before you install it is to apply these foam pads around the holes where the screws go. That'll help prevent a little bit of rubbing and provide some added space to secure the screws to the spoiler. And we're not going to attach these just yet, because in the event that you do not have a spoiler on your Mustang, then you're going to have to drill holes in your deck lid in order to get this to fit. And to do that, the kit comes with these supplied templates that basically all you have to do is remove this center section, the backing material on the template, and then put the hole of the template right over the screw hole on the back of your spoiler. And what this is going to do is we're going to end up taping these templates to your deck lid, and that's going to give you the template as to where you need to drill your holes. So you just pull that center section off, put the sticky side down on your spoiler, and then we can go ahead and test fit this onto the vehicle so that we know exactly where we need to drill our holes. We just place this over the hole, press it down a little bit to make sure that it sticks. And now we can go ahead and lay this on our deck lid and go ahead and mark our spots where we need to drill our holes. Now we can go ahead and lay our spoiler down on our deck lid and get it centered to make sure that the spoiler is centered on our deck lid correctly. We just line up the edges. So that you've got the same distance from the ends of the spoiler to the end of the deck lid. And you should have about 1/4 of an inch or so on each side. Once you've got that positioned properly, then you go ahead and use some of your painter's tape. And I do recommend using painter's tape as opposed to regular masking tape. It just doesn't leave the adhesive on the deck lid like regular masking tape would. So we just take a small piece of tape, place it over the template. And I recommend doing this on all 4 templates, on the top and the bottom. Now once you've got all 4 of your templates taped down, then we can go ahead and gently remove the spoiler itself. Now keep in mind that there is going to be some adhesion on the back side of the template to hold this down, so you want to make sure you don't disturb that when you lift the template. You want to make sure you don't disturb that when you lift the spoiler off. Now once we lift the spoiler off, the template will stay in place and it'll show us exactly where we need to drill our holes in order to put the screws in from the back side. Now you start from one end and just very gently lift that up and remove it from the template. And there you go. Now that'll show you exactly where the holes need to be. And like I said, since ours already had the holes drilled, this template's holes should line up exactly where the factory ones were, which in our case they do. But like I said, if you don't have a spoiler already on your car, this will show you exactly where you need to drill. Now, you're going to want to use a 7/32 drill bit to drill these holes out, and then we can go ahead and install the spoiler. Now, as you can see where our templates are laying, they perfectly match up with the factory holes in our deck lid from our factory spoiler, which is a good thing. But in the event that you don't have a spoiler on your vehicle, these will show you exactly where you need to drill your holes so that we can put the screws in the backside of the spoiler. Now you're going to want to use a 7/32 drill bit to drill out these holes. And then once you get the holes drilled, you can use like some clear nail polish to put on the edges of the hole in case there's any bare metal that comes up from drilling the holes. Now that we've got our templates in place, we can go ahead and prepare the spoiler for actual installation. Now with our spoiler upside down on a padded table here, what we can do now is we're going to go ahead and prep it with using some alcohol just to wipe it down, make sure that there's no contaminants on there. And then we're going to apply our double-sided tape and our 4 insulator pads around each one of the holes. So if you've got some just regular old rubbing alcohol at home and a clean cloth, you can do the same thing. We're just going to use our alcohol pads that we've got here and just go around the edges where the tape is going to be applied. Make sure we get that wiped down and everything is clean. And go around each one of the holes where the pads are going to go. Now, once you've got that cleaned off, give it a couple minutes to dry up, and then we can go ahead and apply our pads. So we'll go ahead and apply our pads after we install our double-sided tape. Now, this is included in your kit, so you don't have to worry about going out and purchasing it. And to install this, basically you're just going to unroll the tape, start from one end of the edge, and you can see that there's a little lip here. You're just going to run your tape along that lip, and then you can trim it using a utility knife or a razor blade. You're just going to want to run along the inside edge of this lip on the spoiler. And then when you get to the edge, just use your utility knife or your razor blade and just trim that off. Now we can go ahead and finish the sides and the upper edge as well. Then once you've got it laid down, just go ahead and run your fingers over it, put some pressure on there, make sure that it's sticking really good. Now we can go ahead and install our pads. So you're just going to remove the brown paper backing on it, center the hole on the spoiler. And again, just press these down, make sure that they're all stuck on there the way they should be. Now we're ready to put this on our car. And to do that, what you're going to want to do is peel off the red backing on your double-sided tape, maybe about 3 or 4 inches. You can go ahead and remove all of the sides if you want to, and do the same thing on both long edges of your spoiler. The reason why we're going to do that is that we can go ahead and set this in place, get our screws in, and then once we got everything lined up, then we can start removing the rest of the red backing and press this down as we go along. Now, because we're not making this a permanent addition to our vehicle, we're not going to go ahead and actually remove all of the backing. I just wanted to show you how to do it when you put it on your car. Ours will be coming off and putting the factory spoiler back on. So, like I said, just peel the edge about 3 or 4 inches on both ends of the long side. You can go ahead and remove all of the backing on the ends, and then go ahead and remove the backing on your pads as well. Now let's go ahead and get this installed on our car. Now, the kit supplies you with these screws and flat washers to be able to secure the spoiler to your deck lid. And before you put that in, one of the things I like to do is just put a piece of tape around the screw and push it through. And then we can insert our screwdriver into the screw and wrap the tape around the screwdriver. Now the reason I like to do this is because it prevents you from dropping your screw down the holes and getting lost in your deck lid. Ask me how I know that. So now we go ahead, lay our deck lid in place, line up the holes, and go ahead and insert our first screw. And once you've got that first one started, we can repeat the same process for the other 3 screws and the washers. And don't forget your tape, because like I said, if you lose one down there, they're very difficult to find. Now I wouldn't tighten them down just yet. Just get all 4 of them started first. That way you can double check your alignment, make sure everything is good. Now that you got all of your screws started, we can go ahead and just set our lid down, double check our alignment, make sure it's where we really want it to be. And then at this point, what we'll do is if we had our backing material on our double-sided tape here removed, we'd go ahead and finish removing that on both sides, and then go ahead and press this down, and then go ahead and tighten down all of our screws to make sure that everything stays secure. So since, like I said earlier, we're not making this a permanent addition to our car, we're not removing the backing on our tape, but we will go ahead and tighten down the screws and show you what it looks like when it's finished. Now we can go ahead and install our deck lid trim panel. We'll slide our emergency release handle through the hole, line that up, slide our harness through, and then install our 2 rubber bumpers at the top, just to kind of hold it in place while we finish installing the rest of it. We'll go ahead and install our latch cover, reinstall all of our push pins, and finally our 2 grommets on the ends. And that wraps up our review and install of the MP Concepts GT350 Track Pack style rear spoiler in the matte black finish for a 15 and newer Mustang Fastback. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.